earlier, Betsy DeVos was the victim of vandalism. She is the owner of 10 yachts, and one of those yachts was in a lake, docked at a lake in Ohio, and someone had essentially untied that yacht, allowing it to float away.
Yeah, and that's what yachts do, they float away.
So there's the Sequest. It is a luxury yacht worth $40 million. And so, look, you should never vandalize anyone's property regardless. So we are not in favor of that. I want to make that abundantly clear. The yacht did suffer damage, about $10,000 in damages. And so as far as we know so far, there hasn't been a suspect arrested for this. But it did luckily begin an investigation by great reporters like David Sirota, who looked into the Sequest to see why it was flying a flag for the Cayman Islands, which indicates that this yacht is registered with the Cayman Islands. So what does that mean? What kind of taxes and regulations is Betsy DeVos able to skirt by having this massive yacht registered with the Cayman Islands? Well, I'll give you the details on what David Sirota found. So let's go to graphic 51. Maritime attorneys suggest it is a scheme that allows wealthy Americans to feign foreign status and glean the lucrative benefits offered by offshore tax havens. So, for instance, registering a yacht in a locale like the Caymans under what has come to be known as the flag of convenience allows those American yacht owners to effectively characterize themselves as foreigners for tax purposes, thereby avoiding the obligation of paying the standard levies. So that was to be expected. As soon as you find out that it's registered with the Cayman Islands, then of course, being able to avoid taxes is the number one thing that comes to mind. This is what rich people do. But there's more.
Okay, so first minor point and then a major point about how, I guess, Betsy DeVos by definition is un-American. I don't know why she's the Education Secretary when she'd rather fly some other country's flag. Ugh, that sounds as un-American as you can get. But very typical of conservatives to be un-American. But small point here. I just want to give you context on the, as Anna put it, the floating yacht. It floated away. So if you're feeling bad for her, first of all,
don't.
No one should do it. I'm now repeating that. We might even say it one more time. Okay. It's a $40 million yacht. It had $10,000 worth of damage. So if you do the math on it, if you had a $40,000 car, that would be the equivalent of $10 of damage on your $40,000 car. Now, luckily, she has 9 other yachts. So I don't know how she's gonna recover, but I bring you that context not because, hey, it's no big deal that somebody did property damage, no, right? But it's because conservatives in the media made a huge deal out of this. And they were like, oh my God.
I know, they love to play the victims,
right.
I know. No, but no one ever talks about the damage that's done to the property of everyday average Americans, right? Like my life is my property. I was about to fall from my stool, hold on.
Property damage, okay, that's happening.
I'm getting all fired up, right? So Betsy DeVos goes out of her way to look out for her for-profit college executive cronies, knowing that they screwed over and defrauded American students, okay? They are now stuck with debt that was supposed to be forgiven. It was supposed to be forgiven. They are now stuck with that debt because Betsy DeVos refuses to forgive that debt. These are students who were defrauded by for-profit colleges. No tears, no crying for them. But conservatives are so disingenuous whenever they make themselves out to be victims. Like, oh my God, my $40 million yacht has been damaged, $10,000 in damages. What about the hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages that students have to deal with because Betsy DeVos is incompetent scum who should not be the head of the education department? No, don't feel sorry for her. Don't vandalize people's property. That's wrong and it's criminal. But with that said, I'm not shedding a tear for her.
No, their disproportionate reaction is hilarious. So we're going to be disproportionate back in a second. They're like, a conservative commentator was like, this could be the beginning of communism.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, look at how comical they sound, right? They're like, now if people are unattaching our yachts from the docks and we only have 9 docks available at us at one time, and our 10th yacht has to have $10 worth of damage, right? Or the equivalent of 10, as I just explained, right? Like how will we keep the communists at bay?
I think,
come on. I mean, you're talking about overreaction.
No, I have a really good suggestion, right? You're worried about violence in America, vandalism in America, your precious yacht. Since it's registered with the Cayman Islands, go ahead and dock it there. Why is it in Ohio, in a lake in Ohio? Why is that?
Better yet, why don't you move to the Cayman Islands? If you don't like America and you don't want to fly its flag, get out.
Yeah, please, I would love that.
Why don't you be the Education Secretary of the Cayman Islands? Because you're flying their flag. You're supposed to be our education. You're supposed to be making America great again, not making the Cayman Islands great again. You're so embarrassed of this country, you won't fly our flag, you fraud. Okay, so let's give you more details, and then I'm actually going to unleash because I'm just getting started.
So, according to one maritime attorney who spoke to David Sirota, he said the following: if you want to come in and use waters of a given state of the United States, the question is, how can you insulate yourself from getting hit for the use tax? The answer is close and register offshore. If you close and register offshore, you aren't subject to either a sales or a use tax. You are simply visiting the United States, even though her boats are just docked here permanently. And you are visiting under a privilege that is granted to certain countries in the world under what is called a cruising permit. Those countries grant the privilege to US flagged vessels, and the United States offers that reciprocal right to vessels flagged by those countries. So essentially, it's a giant loophole that was specifically created for the super rich, like Betsy DeVos, right? She gets to essentially use our waters and skirt any regulation or any tax associated with that because she registers her yachts with the Cayman Islands.
So let's talk about how she's robbing people in America. And let me be clear about that, and I'll give you the math behind it as well, okay? So there are a number of advantages in registering in the Cayman Islands, and I told you about some of them. But there are others as well. You don't have to pay your workers as much because you're not subject to US law. Because apparently Betsy DeVos, when she's on her yacht, is what? A citizen of the Cayman Islands. So she's technically visiting here in America. She's our education secretary. She flies another country's flag and follows their laws, not our laws. Second thing she gets to do, other than pay her workers less money, is if they get hurt on the job, there's no regulation. So she's gonna throw them overboard and be like, oh yeah, sorry, you're not gonna get any of the normal protections you would get under American law because she's a traitor who's under Cayman Islands law. Leave, take your yacht, get on your yacht, okay, and go to the Cayman Islands if that's where you wanna live. If you live here, you have to abide by our laws. I know you hate our laws because you're un-American. You hate our justice system, you hate our education system, that's why you're trying to dismantle it as we speak. I know you're a robber baron, your whole family is a robber baron. So let's talk about the robbery. So, okay, you want to avoid the regulation, you want to crush your workers, and you want to cost them money, okay? But let's talk about the use and state tax that Anna referred to. On state tax alone, for that $40 million yacht, she would have paid $2.4 million in taxes. Now, the right wing will go, oh yeah, I'm glad she cheated. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, take the money and run. But she's cheating the taxpayers of Ohio in that case. They have to pay, if you live in Ohio, you gotta pay your taxes. Remember when you register something in the Cayman Islands? That's right, you don't. Because you need fancy accountants and fancy lawyers to be able to do those loopholes so that you don't have to pay your fair share. We're not asking you to pay extra, we're asking you to pay the taxes everyone else in the state pays.
That's right.
Instead, she robbed you of $2.4 million, and they're crying about the $10,000 in damage. But how about you guys? She picked your pocket for $2.4 million while pretending to be a citizen of the Cayman Islands.
Yep.
Oh, hey, she's flying their flag. In this country, we fly our flag because we're Americans. But people like Betsy DeVos think America is a punchline. They don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in equality of opportunity. They don't believe in the American dream. And as education secretary, that's supposed to be her #1 job, to give every kid in this country and every American an opportunity for that American dream. Instead, she flies off to the Cayman Islands, registers her yachts there, flies their flag so she can rob you.
And by the way, rob the police departments in that state, because that's essentially what the use tax is utilized for. It's utilized to help fund police departments, hardworking Americans who, provide a public service in that state. I mean, come on. This is making America great again. She doesn't care about making America great. Trump doesn't care about it. This entire administration is so corrupt. These are the exact people that we're supposed to be fighting against. And it's just sad that things have gotten even worse.
All right, so by the way, the other thing that it funds is public schools, which she's supposed to be in charge of, but she doesn't want to pay her taxes for the public schools. But I'm going over the top. Since she didn't pay her taxes, and taxes pay for cops, I don't know why they brought her yacht back. I don't know why anybody's got to pay damage. Wait. Betsy DeVos, I hope you're not going to use the American justice system to try to get compensated for that $10,000 of damage or try to find the culprit who did it. Cops, you should stop working on that case immediately. She didn't pay for your wages. We paid for your wages. Hey, if cops in the Cayman Islands want to get on the case, welcome to Ohio. Welcome, okay? Look, we'll be fair. You know, I know that you like her in the Cayman Islands, and you want to protect her vessels and her yachts from there. So we'll cooperate with the cops from the Cayman Islands. But no cop in Ohio or any other American state should work on this case, because that's not an American boat. She didn't pay American taxes. She doesn't pay American wages. She doesn't care about America at all. Go figure it out with the Cayman Islands. No one should be arrested or prosecuted for that case. I would be happy to do that if she was an American that flew an American flag and paid American taxes.
Exactly.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.